In this video, I'm going to take you through the entire Shure SM7b microphone setup. So if you're thinking of buying one or you've already bought one, then this video is perfect for you. Now, if you're a complete beginner, it can be a little bit confusing setting up a Shure SM7b, so I'm going to make it as simple as possible for you. We're going to cover the microphone and what you need to connect it to a laptop or computer so you can get recording as quickly as possible. Before we get into the video, if you are interested in starting a podcast, I've got a free podcast cheat sheet which basically takes you through everything you need to know to start, launch your very own podcast. Everything from microphones, free software, how to get guests, how to launch your podcast correctly. So I'll put a link in the description and you can grab a free copy of my podcast cheat sheet. Now, the Shure SM7b is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, podcast and recording microphones out there. In recent years, they've got a huge amount of publicity by being the microphones of choice for some of the biggest podcasters out there, including Joe Rogan and many, many others. Now, if you're just starting out in your podcast or recording journey and you're not technically minded, then I probably wouldn't recommend the Shure SM7b just because there's a lot to think about when you're first starting out. But if you are technically minded, then I think the Shure SM7b is a perfect microphone for you. So when you first purchase your Shure SM7b, this is pretty much all you're going to get. You're going to get the microphone. Now, if we have a look in here, we've got two things of importance. We've got an Xlr input, which is how we're going to connect our microphone to our computer or laptop, and we've got a little adapter there so we can either attach it to a stand or a boom arm. So obviously we can't just let this stand on our desk, we've got to attach it to something. So those are the two main key areas of this microphone when you first purchase one of these. So we'll cover the Xlr input in a second, but the first thing you need to think about is how to attach your microphone to a stand or a boom arm. Now, in this case, I've just got a really cheap stand here. It's called Touratech from Amazon. I think it was around $15, $20, really cheap. I'm always moving the microphone around to different places, hence why I didn't opt for a boom arm, because I want to take it off and show you guys and bits and pieces, and it can be a little bit tricky taking it off. So it, again, without meaning to preach to the converted, it literally just screws on there. It's really simple. If I can do it like this, one-handed, just about. And then that literally just sits on my desk like that, and we can record away. Now, if you are interested in getting a boom arm, there's loads you can buy on Amazon, and they range in price up to quite pretty expensive, $300-400. But it's worth noting when you are on Amazon, because there's some really cheap boom arms, that it can hold the weight of a Shure SM7b. And on the back of the box, when it arrives, it says the weight in pounds. So just make sure when you're ordering a boom arm that it can hold the weight of the Shure SM7b, because you don't want it dropping all the time. Now, whilst you're on Amazon, it's a really great time to get some things that we need to set up our Shure SM7b. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to need two Xlr cables. So in this case, I've just got one here, but we need two of these, and there's a reason why we need two. Again, Xlr cables around $10 or so on Amazon. You can get nice fancy colours like red, black, blue, whatever it might look like, and of course different lengths as well. I opted for the 6 foot length just because it's I don't know why I picked it, but 6 foot sounds about right. So we're going to need two of these. Whilst we're also on Amazon, we're going to need what's called a cloud lifter. This boosts, in essence, without going into too much of a technical detail, this boosts the volume of the microphone of our Shure SM7b. Without it, it'd be incredibly quiet. So these roughly retail around $120. So it's super simple. We've got our Shure SM7b, we've got a stand or our boom arm that we need, we've got two Xlr cables. I'm not very good at keeping them untangled, and we've got our cloud lifter as well. So we can go ahead now and plug in our Shure SM7b. Super simple. So we've got one Xlr cable, which then feeds into our cloud lifter, which we have here, and then we need another Xlr cable to go from here into our mixer, which is then going to go into our computer. Okay, so we plug in the other Xlr cable, which I'm going to show you the Focusrite in a second, which is a really cool piece of kit. And that's pretty much it in terms of setting up our Shure SM7b. So let's go ahead and let me show you the Focusrite that I've got. And so from our Xlr cable, this goes straight into this Focusrite Scarlett Solo, and then literally USB, there's the USB, straight into the back of it, and we are good to go to record our audio now. So in summary, we've got our Shure SM7b with one Xlr cable which goes into our cloud lifter, and then from the cloud lifter it goes into this Focusrite, which is literally just an audio input for our computer. So we can plug in our Xlr cable here, there. These retail for around about 120 or so, I might be a bit off on that, around about 120 US dollars. And then we've got a cable which goes into our USB, so we can plug into a laptop or computer. And now we are ready to hit record in whatever piece of recording software we've got, whether that's Audacity or if you're on a Mac, you might have GarageBand or something similar. And that is our Shure SM7b setup, ready to rock and roll. So guys, that is how we set up our Shure SM7b, an incredibly popular microphone used by everyone, it seems, in the podcasting world at the moment. Highly, highly recommend it. Again, if you're technically minded, super simple to set up. If not, then I'd probably recommend getting a USB microphone if you're just starting out. And don't forget, you can also grab my podcast cheat sheet as well. Click the link in the description and you'll get free access to this if you're thinking of starting your very own podcast. Thanks, guys.